Hello and welcome to another great episode of Java Boom. I'm your host Georgi Viznyuk, and today I'm going to show you how to implement a binary search algorithm to do a simple search on a list of integers. It's one of the most popular search algorithms you can find, and for this lesson I'm going to show we're going to have the user input the size of the array. We're going to have the user input populate the array, and we have the algorithm search for the item that he wants. So, but before we start, what is this binary search algorithm so popular? Well, the key thing here is has a logarithmic time complexity. What exactly does that mean? It basically means that this algorithm doesn't need to search through all the items to find what it wants. It only needs to search on a small fraction of them. In this case, what it does is split the list in half, and depending on what we're searching for, it will pick the first half or the second half. And with those halves, it will split those in half as well. It'll keep on going until it finds what it wants. And that's why you only search for a really small fraction. So keep that in mind. With that, let's get started. So to start, we need to create a few integer primitives. We need to create int first, last, middle, n, which will be the size of the array, search, which will be what we're searching for in the actual array. Now to get user input, we have to use the scanner class. I've used this before in my previous lessons. If you're not familiar, be sure to check those out. Scanner in, we're going to create a new object called new scanner with standard input in, passed in. And we're going to send out, before we do that, we send out a simple message to the user asking him to input the size. Let's enter the size of the array. And we assign the size to n in that next int. With this, we now can initialize the array with size n. Array, new int n. So now we have the size, and we created an empty array of size n. Now, to populate this array with values, we have to use a for loop. So before we do that, we're going to send out a message to the end user asking to populate the array with items. Now we're going to create a for loop. We're going to create an counter called c inside. So you make sure c is never greater than the size n. In the meantime, we increment it. And we populate it like this. We assign each with user input. So at this point, we have a array with values inside now. The next step is to get the search. What is this user searching for? To do that, we send a message out to the user asking him to enter the value on what he's searching for. Please enter the value to search for. And we assign search the value. So At this point, we have all the information we need. We have a populated array list and what we're searching for. Our next step is to create a while loop to search through the entire array. This will be the search algorithm. Before we do that, we have to assign first, middle, and last. Last in -1. And middle will be first plus last divided by 2. Now, in the while loop, we're going to have a condition where first should never be greater than last. Otherwise, it will break out. Now, inside this while loop, we're going to have if conditions to check which half of the array list we're going to decide to go. We can either pick the first half or the second half, depending on the search. So, inside the if conditions, we're going to check if the array in the middle of the array is greater than search. Sorry, if it's less than search. Then we update the first variable with middle plus 1. If the middle of the array has that search value, then we found the item that we wanted, and we simply send an output to the user telling him we found it, and break out of the while loop, since there's no need to search through the entire loop, the entire list. Furthermore, so we send system out dot print line stating that and we break out. Now the last condition is, since we're checking if the array is less than what we're searching for. So that's the first part of the array. If that's not satisfied, we have to search the other half. So in this case, we assume the first half is not found, then we automatically update the last. Last equals middle -1. And we, in the meantime, always update the middle. By assigning middle first plus last divided by 2. So there you have it, the search algorithm in a nutshell. Now, what happens if the item is not found? Well, the while loop will break out on its own, but we have to check if the first is greater than last. In that case, then we know for certain that the item is not there. And we send a message out to the user stating that the item is not found. So there you have it. Let's run it and see what happens. So the first, it's asking me to enter the size of the array. We're gonna do a somewhat small array, size 10, for instance. Now we have to populate with 10 items. There's one nuance that I forgot to mention with binary search algorithms here. They have to be in sorted order, the items. If they're not, this algorithm will not work properly. So keep that in mind. So we can do 2, 4, 7, 22, 55, 9, 12, 120, 300, 35. So after that, we just enter the value to search for. So let's search for 300. And there you have it. You found the item. Now let's try a different scenario. Let's import a search variable that is not found in the list and see what happens. So we're gonna run the program again. Asking to input the size, then the values. Now it's asking it to enter the value to search for, and let's search for 79. There you have it. The item is not found. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. You got some insight on our first search algorithms. There are many others, but this is one of the most popular ones. So until then, take care.